Good afternoon, Dunkirk and Fredonia listeners, and welcome back to News at Noon. News at Noon is brought to you by Fredonia Radio Systems on WCVF 88.9 and WDVL 89.5. All the cool kids are here today. I'm Maisie Strader, here today with Parker, Callie, Dan, and London.
With this top of the hour update, we bringing you the latest news and events, sports, weather, pop culture, and science. But first up, let's go to the event bulletin for this week.
At the SUNY Fredonia TV station, Brock Popke has a late-night talk show that has a bi-weekly guest that he interviews to give the classic late-night show vibe. Inspired by Eric Andre, A Sit Down with Brock is on WNYF TV every other Thursday at 10 p.m. on WNYF Television, YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/WNYF Television. That's it for our information through the grapevines. Next up, we'll bring it to London for our campus news updates.
Thank you so much, Maisie. To jump things off, this is just a reminder that tomorrow is a day for anyone interested in adding or changing a major or minor in their coursework at tomorrow's major fair. Representatives from different majors and minors will be available to talk to you about your interests, career aspirations, and answer all questions that you have about declaring or exploring the major. The event will be at the Williams Center tomorrow from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Even more going down at the Williams Center, you can join us at the workshop tomorrow for increasing efficiencies with the ADP technology, and it will be presented by the Center for Innovation and Economic Development, or CIED for short. It is open and free to the public, and it will have a lunch included. The workshop will discuss how ADP can help you with all your current and aspiring business owners to retain top talent, becoming more profitable, and increase their efficiencies. Questions on how we can support a business with reliable payroll, HR platforms, and among many other questions, they will all be answered. Again, this will be at the Williams Center tomorrow at noon. 5 alumni in medical school will return to campus and meet with students in discussing their careers and life in a professional school. It will be held on October 19th at 11 a.m. in the Science Center at the Kelly Family Auditorium, and it is a great opportunity for current students to learn about applying for professional schools and what to expect during the process thereafter as a student. And one reason to go, refreshments will be provided. That's all from around the way. Let's bring it to Callie for local news.
Thank you, London. 2 years ago, in 2022, author Salman Rushdie, the writer of the novel The Satanic Verses, was brutally attacked at a literary event in Chautauqua Institute in Chautauqua County, causing him to lose an eye and one hand. Hadi Matar, 24, of Fairview, New Jersey, was taken into custody for allegedly stabbing Rushdie over a dozen times. CNY Central says, quote, "Late Friday, an appellate judge in Rochester halted proceedings until the court rules on a motion by Hadi Matar's attorney for a change of venue out of Chautauqua County, where the attack occurred. The court ruled on the motion as early as Tuesday, or the court could rule on the motion as early as Tuesday. The courts are closed Monday, but the trial has been taken off the calendar until further notice," end quote. The novel Satanic Verses has seen some controversy in its days. Google says, quote, "The Satanic Verses by Salman Rushdie is a magical realism novel that tells the story of two men who survive a plane hijacking and are transformed into the angel Gabriel and the devil. The novel explores themes of religion, belief, alienation, and the immigrant experience," end quote. Britannica, an encyclopedia, mentions that some Muslims considered its fanciful and satiric use of Islam blasphemous. CNY states, quote, "Federal authorities allege that Matar was motivated by a terrorist organization's endorsement of a fatwa or edict calling for Rushdie's death," end quote. Matar has pleaded not guilty to attempted murder and assault. Earlier this month, Fredonia Central School District made a decision to cancel school on Election Day, not just to shed light on voter awareness, but to also keep students safe. Chautauqua County once designated Welllock Primary School as a site for a portion of village voters, however, tried to change the location this year. Superintendent Brad Zilloch said, quote, "We did our best to try and get that adjusted through a formal process. That request was denied," end quote. The Observer reports on a Board of Education member, Sheila Hahn. She says, quote, "It doesn't even seem like a matter of debate. We're securing entrances so that people can't come into the school. Yet we're publicizing a day when it's free for all and everyone can come in with whatever. That to me does not make any sense. It should never have been used as a polling place and definitely should not continue to be used." End quote. So maybe in the future years, the board's decision will change, the location will be put into motion. That's all for your local news update. Let's take it to Parker with sports.
Fredonia has had a slow couple of days in the athletic department with no games until this afternoon, with men's soccer facing off against Cortland at home at 3 p.m. The women's soccer team will head off to Cortland to face Cortland at a start time of 3 p.m. as well. In Sabres news, the Sabres start a road trip tonight, heading out to Pittsburgh to face the Penguins with a start time of 7 o'clock. In MLB news, the Game 3 of the NLCS begins tonight with a start time of 8:08 p.m. In Buffalo Bills news, the Buffalo Bills defeated the New York Jets on Monday Night Football by a score of 23-20, improving their record to 4-2. Josh Allen completed 19 of 25 passes for 215 yards and 2 touchdowns, and also added a rushing touchdown. Rookie Ray Davis had an amazing performance with 20 carries for 97 yards, as well as adding 3 receptions on 55 yards for the Bills. Aaron Rodgers completed 23 of 35 passes for 294 yards, 2 touchdowns, and ending up throwing the game-sealing interception for the Bills. Breece Hall had 18 carries for 113 yards and no touchdowns, and Alan Lazard led the Jets in receiving with 6 receptions for 114 yards and a touchdown, including a Hail Mary to close out the first half. In other Buffalo Bills news, the Buffalo Bills traded for Cleveland Browns wide receiver Amari Cooper, sending the Browns a 2025 third-round pick that is compensatory, can become a second-round pick based on performance, and a 2026 seventh-round pick. The Bills receive Amari Cooper and a 2025 sixth-round pick. In other NFL news, the Jets traded for Las Vegas Raiders wide receiver Devontae Adams, and the Raiders received a conditional pick that can become a second-round pick based on performance. In other NFL news, the Tom Brady was approved as a minority owner of 5% stake in the Las Vegas Raiders at yesterday's fall NFL meeting. That's it for your sports update. Let's send it to Aryana for the 2-day weather.
Now, here is your Northern Chautauqua weather update brought to you by Fredonia Radio Systems.
Good afternoon, Fredonia residents. I got new slippers. It's giving all too well. It's giving Amazon Ugg dupes. It's giving, let's just go into the weather. Today we'll have a high of 44 and a low of 40. There will be a few afternoon showers ahead of us, so if you got new slippers like me, be aware. Tomorrow we'll have a high of 57 and a low of 40. No rain, guys. No rain. I want to burst out into song. All right, I'll see you in a few, but for now, let's go to what I think is the best segment.
Welcome to the Pop Culture and Local Music segment. Let's begin with local music updates. Last Call Entertainment presents a spooky lineup of Relentless Moisture, The Weather Might Say Otherwise, and the BJ's debut of Blue Envy on Thursday, October 24th, in about a week. The show will be at BJ's in Fredonia on 51 West Main Street. Doors open at 9 and music starts at 10. Customers are encouraged to wear costumes. Steven Nedorowski won the heart of many who watched the Paris 2024 Summer Olympics with his pommel horse routine and Clark Kent glasses. This fall, he has been showcasing more of his talent on Dancing with the Stars, and on last night's episode, brought back the pommel horse to kick off his tango routine with partner Riley Arnold. The routine got them a high score of 33, 1 point higher than last week. The bronze medalist also dedicated his performance to men's gymnastics and his Olympic team. Quote, "Recently, the NCAA has been cutting men's gymnastics, and it could go away. Men's gymnastics made me the man I am today, and I want to be able to pour my heart out in this performance for my sport." End quote. Nedorowski said, by literally bringing his sport into the ballroom, he did just that, being only the 4th American man to win a medal in his event since World War II. Go men's gymnastics. In other news, Cynthia Evero, Oscar-nominated actress who is playing Elphaba in the upcoming Wicked movie, slammed an unofficial altercation of the poster on her Instagram story. Quote, "This is the wildest, most offensive thing I have seen. Equal to that awful AI of us fighting. None of this is funny. It degrades me. It degrades us." End quote. Arrivo wrote, "In the unofficial poster, users edited the brim of Arrivo's hat to cover her eyes in order to match the Broadway poster." Arrivo continued saying, quote, "Our poster is a homage, not an imitation. To edit my face and hide my eyes is to erase me, and that is just deeply hurtful." End quote. Don't get on her bad side, or she may pay homage to and send her flying monkeys to you. That's all I have for music and pop culture news this week. Let's bring it to Dan for international and national news.
It's time for Lover Call's new story of the week.
Go now. Hey guys, so I might have messed up some buttons here. Full disclosure. But anyway, thanks Maisie. Now we'll take it to international news. Hurricane Milton has left Floridians' coast in shambles. On October 9th and 10th, Milton made landfall along the western side of Florida's peninsula, hitting cities like Sarasota and Tampa, something that hasn't been seen in over 100 years. Residents were victims to winds of over 120 miles per hour and rains that flooded the streets. In some areas, people had to survive around 10 feet of water, according to a report told by NBC News. It has left homes and entire communities unlivable, destroyed, and disheveled. At least 24 deaths have been tied to the impact of this storm. With over 3 million people impacted between Florida and North Carolina, support is coming. Biden has authorized a release of $612 million in federal aid to help the victims. A distressed dog was found tied to a fence in the wake of Hurricane Milton. Florida trooper Orlando Morales found the bull terrier tied near a freeway. Giovanni Aldama Garcia was charged with animal cruelty for the act, stating that he was fleeing the state but left his dog behind because he, quote, couldn't find anyone to pick up the dog, end quote. State Attorney Susie Lopez says that, quote, they will face the music and they will face the music, end quote. My bad. As crimes committed during states of emergency face harsher penalties. Leon County Humane Society has taken the dog into their care. They are currently taking care of Trooper, what they named the bull terrier. On Tuesday, South Korean military officials detected explosions on 2 North Korean border roads. According to the South Korean Joint Chief of Staff, North Korean military officials detonated explosives on connection roads, presumably to block off the 2 states. The spokesperson for the staff states, quote, if North Korea undertakes a provocation, we will strongly retaliate in terms of our right to self-defense, end quote. This has been after North Korea sent trash balloons to South Korea and stated that the 2 countries are, quote, hostile states, end quote. Shout out to Lover Call, by the way. That was their little button. So catch Lover Call on Wednesday nights on WDVL and catch High Noon on Friday. Now, we'll take it to weather. Hit it, Callie.
Hey, lovies. Callie says it's getting better. However, let's agree to disagree. Sadly, let's announce a high of 63 on Friday and a low of 43. Following the temperature this weekend, Saturday will have a high of 66 and Sunday with 67. Both will be around a low of 43. Skies will be completely clear for the homecoming and alumni weekend. But Shadi, I just want the temperature to get low, low, low. All right. I'll be back on Friday to conduct your high noon weather report. Let's switch it up to the next best segment.
This is a crazy news at noon, guys. This is your favorite science segment, written by Kevin the Science Guy. Do you live under a rock? No. However, researchers have found some species that do. Nature Communication reports, quote, researchers have found a thriving ecosystem of animal life in an unlikely place, beneath hydrothermal vents under the sea floor of the Pacific Ocean. A community of marine life was found below the East Pacific Rise, a volcanically active ridge located where two tectonic plates meet on the floor, end quote. The species found were 50 centimeters long giant tube worms living in a small crevice on the ocean floor. ABC News says, quote, the extent to which animals live in the crustal subsea floor is currently unknown, increasing the urgent need for protection against future environmental changes, research suggests, end quote. However, to protect these newfound marine animals and to explore new life costs a lot of money. Monica Bright, a marine ecologist at the University of Vienna, states, quote, the ocean plays a very big role for our planet, for our climate, and therefore, we need to study it better. I'm very sure that there are many more discoveries to come, even when it's very expensive and difficult to work in these deep sea environments, end quote. NASA's Europa mission is a homecoming for one planetary astronomer. Lisa Grossman, a writer for ScienceNews.org, says, quote, planetary astronomer Bonnie Barati remembers exactly where she was the first time she heard of Jupiter's icy moon Europa might host life. It was the 1980s, and Barati was a graduate student at Cornell University studying the images of the planet's moon taken during the Voyager 1 and 2 flybys in 1979. Even in those first low-resolution snapshots, Europa was intriguing, end quote. The first thing that came to Barati's mind when she saw this icy monster was, quote, it looks like a cracked egg, end quote. Europa was one thing that a lot of other planets don't, and that would be water. Fellow grad student of Barati, Stephen Squeers, suggests if there is an ocean underneath, and where there's water, there's life. Barati is now a deputy project scientist for NASA's Europa Clipper mission. This was launched October 14th in order to find out if Europa is a habitable world. Clipper will arrive in Jupiter in 2030, a little over 5 years from now. The craft will take measurements of the moon's surface, composition, gravity, and internal structure to assess how suitable the small world is for life. She leaves us with one statement, quote, I'm kind of coming home, end quote. My science guy Kevin says he hopes to see more of this impossible universe. Now that'll wrap it up for today's edition of News at Noon. Campus News is written and read by London Nickolai. Local news for this broadcast is written by Maisie Strader and spoken by Callie Newman. Weather is prepared by Maisie Strader and read by Aryana Ramalhete. Good job. Sports is prepared and read by Parker Gurnett. Music and pop culture is prepared by Julia Clement and read by Maisie Strader. National and international news is prepared and read by Dan Granados. Science News is written by Kevin Wilson and Maisie Strader and spoken by Maisie Strader. And finally, board operations for this broadcast are performed by the frazzled Dan Granados and Sarah Lourdespoto, who I would love to thank dearly.
Thank you to the team, and thank you to all of you for tuning into this wacky edition of News at Noon. Join us every Monday and Wednesday at 12 p.m. on WCVF 88.9 and WDVL 89.5. And from all of us over at Fredonia Radio Systems, tune in next time. Have a wonderful day and keep it vibrant in this corner.